Let's be real. Growth isn't easy. And if it feels easy, either you are a don or you are just good at it, or it probably isn't real growth. Now, you say you want to be more, you say you want to do more, you say you want to have more. The question is, what are you actually doing to make that happen? Have you taken advice that you've heard? Have you implemented the strategies that you've learned? Have you put them into action, or are you just consuming content and hoping for change? Look, today we're going to play hide and seek. You ready? And what we're going to do is we're going to go looking around to uncover where your discomfort is. Because if we find where your discomfort is, guess what we're going to find? We're going to find where your real growth begins. So let's go on a hunt and we're going to look for that discomfort. I'm Anthony Charles, and whether you are running a business already or you're dreaming of leaving at 9 to 5, I'm here to help you to turn those skills and those ideas you have into real money by growing your impact, your influence, and your income. It's time to be more, it's time to do more, it's time to have more, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. So look, let's go looking for your discomfort. Let's go and find it. I want to give you 3 things. And we're going to look around and see where that discomfort is. The first thing is to identify your comfort zone. Do you know where your discomfort is? Your discomfort is hiding in plain sight. It's hiding right at the edge of your comfort zone. Now, I want to give you an example. I like to give you examples of things that I live. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty assertive at what I do. Every now and then, I run into something that makes me uncomfortable. Now, you're not going to believe this. A couple of weeks ago, I take my son to table tennis, and we go to the table tennis club, and I go and I wait in a cafe. It's winter time, and I've gone into the cafe and they've got the door wide open. So I literally go to the back of the cafe and I sit down on the radiator. I'm like a budgie sitting on the radiator. I literally turn the chair sideways and I'm leaning on the radiator. It's cold. I wanted to close the door, but I didn't close the door because I found the door open and I wasn't assertive enough to close the door. And I was stuck. And what was going through my head, I thought about this afterwards. I was thinking, the door's open. What if I close the door and the proprietor or somebody says, look, can you open the door back, mate? Can you see how easy it is that you just don't do something because of what's going on in your head? As good as I am, I still struggled. I'm sitting there, and while I'm sitting there, a gentleman comes in. Now, bearing in mind, I've already bought my coffee. I've already given him my money, but I'm sitting there on the radiator because this side of me is warm because I'm on the radiator. This side is chilly because the cold's coming in. There's a guy walks in. He hasn't even bought anything. The first thing he does as he walks in, he closes the door. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, he hasn't even bought anything yet. And here I am sitting there, I'm thinking, well, I should be able to close the door because I paid money for it. Did I do anything? No. Well, the funny thing is, I'm recording this now, but this incident I told you about happened about 2 weeks ago. And when I was making my notes in the same cafe, about 2 weeks afterwards, the door was wide open. And this time I got up and I closed the door. And I didn't have to because somebody else would have closed the door because this time the door was closed. But somebody left it open. I got up and I closed the door. And somebody left it open again. I got up and I closed it a second time. I thought, yeah, I grew into my space. And I'm just telling you that because I want you to know that I'm here to share experiences and teach you stuff. But look, I was still worried about what other people think. I just didn't know it affected me in that area. So here's the thing. I want to go and look for your discomfort. Your discomfort is at the edge of your comfort zone. Now, your future is hidden inside of your daily routine. And what do I mean by that? If I was to watch you and follow you and look at you on how you make your decisions on a day-to-day basis, I could pretty much figure out how much success you're going to have. So here's a question. On a day-to-day basis, what are you currently avoiding? What are you procrastinating about? Oh, sorry. I know some people don't like the word procrastination because they say, I don't procrastinate, Anthony, I'm busy. Okay, what are you busy about? Because there's 3 kinds of busy that I know about. There are people who are busy being productive. There are people who are busy just being busy. And there are people busy doing nothing. So I don't know which one it is. But I'm going to ask you the question again. What are you currently avoiding or what are you busy doing? Whether it's avoiding a sales call that you have to make, whether it's avoiding setting up an important meeting that you have to make, whether it's avoiding going to a networking event because you're not too sure about what you're going to say to people, whether you are procrastinating or on creating that business plan, whatever it is, what is it? Because we're looking today for your discomfort. Is that where your discomfort is hiding? Because your growth doesn't happen where it's comfortable. Your growth doesn't happen where it's safe. We got to get to the place where there is discomfort. So here's an exercise. Let's get into it. I want you to write down 3 things that you are currently avoiding or too busy to do. What's 3 things? Just take a moment and write down 3 things that you are currently avoiding or 3 things that you are just too busy to do. And let's identify and look for the comfort zone. So that's number 1. Number 2, look at the 3 things that you've written down, those 3 things. And I want you to start with really small, manageable steps that will push you out of your comfort zone. I know it can be difficult, but I want you to start looking at what can you do with these 3 things that you've written down to start getting out of your comfort zone into the area where it's a little bit uncomfortable. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed while you're doing it, it's too big. I want you to break it down even further so that you can make it a manageable step. A single step, a tiny step is still progress, but you have to be consistent. Consistency will beat intensity any day of the week. I know there's some people that come to me and they come onto a workshop, they come onto the webinars, or they're just working one-on-one with me and they say to me, Anthony, I'm going to do this, and they've got this big goal. The intensity is real and I love it. But sometimes I say, look, that is just going to take you so far. I'd rather you broke it down and you were consistent. I believe consistency beats intensity any day of the week, but you got to face those fears. That's what you got to overcome. You got to face those fears. In my video, which is entitled Overcome Fear in 13 Minutes, there was a brilliant comment, and it was by J Bobbification. And they quoted the famous JFK saying, or the quote, which said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. You've got nothing to fear but fear itself. And they went on to say that both Sugar Ray Leonard and George St. Pierre, I didn't know who George St. Pierre was until they made that comment. I went and looked him up. 2 of the greatest of all time, both certified badasses. I've already said it. They both admitted to feeling fear, but that motivated them and made them more on point when it counted. Got to face that fear. So here's the question again. Where is your discomfort? Where's that discomfort? Have you found it yet? Because if you're in that discomfort zone, you're ready for growth. You're growing right now. Look, if you like this kind of video where I share what I have learned through my experiences, from my life experiences, and how it determines my decisions I make on a day-to-day basis and how it can help you, then come on, subscribe, join the family. Number 3 is to embrace your failures. It's really important to embrace your failures. And I'd say get a book and make a note, a book of your failures, and in there write down the things that you failed at, and then write down how you have gone on to triumph, and write down the stories around it. These are the things that are going to motivate people in the future. If you're thinking of doing what I do, setting up a YouTube channel, can you see something? A lot of these videos that I make, I'm always telling stories, and I found out some of the worst things that ever happened to me are inspiring for people. But you know, I tell people about the worst things that have happened to me, bad things, but I also tell them about the triumphs and the victories that I've had in spite of those things. Because every single failure you have, I want you to start embracing those failures. I know it's difficult, and if you're going through something really bad right now, I'm not here to trivialize it, but I'm telling you something. We've all had failures. And what I found out about failures is your failures, they teach you something valuable. And if you're not failing, then you're probably not trying hard enough. You're probably playing too safe. And playing too safe is not great. There's a famous saying, I don't know if you've heard this before. It said there was a very cautious man who never laughed or played. He never risked, he never tried, he never sang or prayed. And when one day he passed away, his insurance was denied. For since he never really lived, they claimed he never died. Where is that discomfort? Where is that discomfort? Are you in that discomfort zone now? Because that's where you got to be. That's where we play. That's where we learn. That's where we change. That's where we grow. I want you to reframe your failures. Reframe the failures. See them as feedback. You know, the amount of times that I've had to say to myself, when something goes really wrong, I have to say, boy, I had a character building day today. I've got to reframe it. Where is your discomfort? I want you to start to build a habit of discomfort. Seriously, start to build a habit of being uncomfortable. Whatever it takes, do something that's going to make you uncomfortable. Take cold showers. Wake up at an earlier time in the morning. Do something unusual. Do something uncomfortable. Maybe there's a conversation that you're supposed to have with your boss. Maybe there's a conversation that you're supposed to have with somebody. Do something that's going to take you out of that comfort zone as much as you can and stand and as much as you can do. I developed that habit of being uncomfortable many years ago. I didn't plan it, but I did. I look back in time and my dad, he had a Vauxhall Victor. That's an old-time car. Back in the day, old-time car. It was a religious car, very religious car that was, because I believe my dad prayed inside the car more than he prayed in church. Serious. Because I think sometimes he used to put the key in the steering wheel. I saw him close his eyes. Please, God, let the car start. Listen, he spent more time underneath that car than inside the car. And I would be looking out of the window at him. He's outside tinkering with the car, trying to get the car to work. And I felt bad for him. I don't know why. I would put my coat on, I'd put my hat on, put my gloves on. It's freezing out there. And I'd go and stand there. I'd stand there. And he's moving around. He's fine. I am standing there and my feet are turning to ice. I don't know why. Nobody's told me to go out there. He would occasionally say, hand me this thing, hand me that thing. I couldn't leave him. I just couldn't leave him. I felt so bad for him being out there by himself. I'd go and stand outside with him. I didn't realize right there, I was building up my resilience. I was making myself uncomfortable. And sometimes now when I find myself in uncomfortable situations, I find it easy. I find it easy to be in that discomfort zone. You got to focus on your progress. You know, focus on your progress, not your perfection. I always say, look, don't try and be perfect. There's only one perfect man I know about. They did bad things to him. So listen, where is your discomfort? I want you to share it in the comments below. All that's left for me to say is, look, if you are ready to be more, to do more, and to have more, and you want to get on that road to turning your ideas and skills into real money, then you need to download my Essential Business Startup Checklist. It's going to give you a clear picture of where you are in business right now and what you need to do next. All that's left for me to say to you is keep on being amazing, because you are. Feeling good? Want more results like this? Let's keep that momentum going with this video here. Also, click on my head here to subscribe.